In less than 10 days, the giant of Africa will be having another individual to lead them for the next 4 years. This comes amidst the numerous issues taking place in the country. As the incumbent president transits out, this upcoming election seems to be one of the crucial and notable elections that will take place in the country's history. Speaking with our correspondents, the presidential candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Kachikwu, addressed the burning issues in the country and spoke on the upcoming elections and what Nigerians should expect. But first, let's have the people's voices heard.
Situation on ground with respect to the Naira redesign policy of federal government being championed by Central Bank of Nigeria. It's like we are in a situation of a stalemate, though I consider it to be a last fight, in the sense that we have always been in challenges over the last 7 years. When ASU was on strike for 8 months, none of the governors went to court. Fuel scarcity, none of the governors went to court. Hardship everywhere, incessant killing and thuggery, armed robbery, kidnapping. They have not been going to Supreme Court to challenge the federal government. But this is the last fight. I call it advanced war against indiscipline. Buhari has been known for war against indiscipline, but this particular one is advanced. And this is the last fight in his administration. I can see that cashless policy has come to stay. A woman selling akara very close to PDP is collecting transfer. I bought banana yesterday by transfer. I've been eating food by transfer. So all those who don't have bank account, we go and create bank account just one day to create bank account. And a little available cash, we'll be managing it for 1 or 2 transactions. But I prefer CBN printing more money. Those governors going to court are not going for the masses, they're going for themselves. Actually, I don't even think that the protest has any meaning. Somebody should have protested when ASU was on strike for 8 months. He didn't protest. Somebody should have protested when people were being kidnapped and killed, and those kidnappers are collecting ransom, attacking rail lines and whatever. Nobody protested. I said this is the last fight. Fuel subsidy has always been a scam because you are paying for what you don't use. When government subsidize the fuel, import the fuel, they will export it again to neighboring African countries. And then we import more because they are thereby increasing the volume of our consumption, which we never consumed. So it is just a scam of cabal.
From where I'm coming from this morning from Naira, before you could get money to transport yourself down to this town, it's not even easy. Nowhere will you get nowhere POS. So me, I feel the government should come out and say, the executive should come out and say what is that. If once they talk, I know things will get. It's kidnappers. According to what we are seeing on social media, it's like they say they even have the money in their den already, even before. So now maybe they are still waiting that money comes before they go back to action. But no, I think these are big men. They need to come down to our level. They should come down and see things themselves. If the money realized from the subsidy is well utilized, I'm in support.
The state government has no right to go to court because the CBN is an independent body, so to speak. So if they are not joined in this suit, the CBN cannot be compelled. And that's why you see that up to now the CBN is saying that as far as they are concerned, the February 10 deadline stands. When you are doing things in Nigeria, Nigeria is a peculiar country, like they say. You must take into consideration so many things. I'm in the city. I've not seen cash in the past 3 weeks. I go to the bank every day, they don't have cash. I said, it's my opinion. The issue of kidnapping will always be there because it's a criminal industry. Some people like it, they plan for it, and they get away with it. And if you watch kidnapping in Nigeria, most of the guys who do it are a little bit intelligent, so they watch. Like you just said, maybe when the Naira begins to flow around again, they will start all over. But kidnapping is not the only reason why this thing is a good policy. It's going to work against vote buying, even though we agree that vote buying starts before the vote itself. Because as we speak, they are sharing rice, they are sharing all kinds of wine. I saw one wine with one party logo. I saw rice, I saw all kinds of things. They are sharing wrapper. Those are equally vote buying. Nigeria is a country that knows how to, we are resilient. I was in this same Abuja when good luck just jacked it up and then they shut down the whole country. Today, all those who shut down the whole country, because this APC government is going to hound you and arrest you and mess you up.
Sani Abacha said something. He said when security issues prevails beyond 24 hours, there's government hand in it. My concern is not about the financial scarcity around currently. My concern is the fact that we have the capacity, we have the financial resources, we have whatever it takes to cube any kind of security. I implore our leaders to remove any kind of sentiment, because we are growing into a stage where so many things will not be condoned and so many things will naturally cannot happen. Not because youth will come out violently, not because youth will come out to fight, but naturally it will die down.
Nigerians have been struggling and purchasing both the new notes and old notes as point of sale agents exploit the situation, and the hope of Nigerians has once again been washed away as the Supreme Court adjourned the Naira case till February 22, 2023. The ADC presidential hopeful had this to say.
I've spoken extensively on the issue of the Naira redesign. It was ill-conceived, ill-timed, and very poorly implemented. The worst thing about this is that where rumors abound that we redesign our Naira just to target the APC candidates, it just seems very, very shoddy, and the central bank has not come out to deny this. In fact, when one of the gains they list as being a gain of the redesign is issue of corruption and people hoarding money, you seem to implicate our security agencies. You seem to say that they don't know what they are doing if you are doing their work for them. If people have stashed ill-gotten monies in their houses, you should use actionable intelligence, get legal instruments and go and recover those monies. But why punish Nigerians? What hurts the most is when you watch the videos where people sleep outside banks from 1 a.m. all till the morning to get numbers to get into a bank and get just 5 or 10,000 naira. It's heartbreaking, and people don't seem to care, because there's this attitude in Nigeria where you seem to be insulated, or a lot of people seem to be insulated from what is really happening to the masses, and we then seem to be okay. And there are those also who they just sell them this narrative that, oh, this policy will affect some big man, and because of that they say we'll suffer it, it's okay. It's the truth that it doesn't affect any big man. No big man is suffering this. Finally, on this, a lot of people believe that the CBN governor planned to run for office under the APC government or under the APC party. People believe that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu checkmated him and ensured that he didn't run, even though he had picked a ticket, as they said. A lot of people believe that this is his way of getting back at Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. In order to get back at one man, you destroy the whole country. It's not on. I don't think it's right.
While Nigerians are also being exploited by fuel attendants on the case of fuel subsidy removal and the increased price of the product, Kachikwu proposed that Nigeria starts to purchase vehicles powered by gas and establish working refineries.
I don't think Nigerian government has any choice in the matter anymore, considering the fact that the subsidy seems to get into the pockets of just a few individuals. It's a white-collar crime, so government needs to remove this subsidy and reinvest some of the savings into social infrastructure to support the poor masses. It's unfortunate that government is having to deal with this tough decision at a time like this, when the economy is in complete tatters, when the Nigerian people are suffering. But the sooner we do it, the better, because, like I said, it's a fraud. It's a fraud on the Nigerian people. That money should be reinvested. Beyond reinvesting the money, we need to bring our refineries on stream. We need to go after those who've taken the monies that we've put into those refineries in the last 2 decades. We need to make those refineries work. We need to encourage people to invest in more refineries, be they modular refineries or the mega-sized refineries. We need to get refineries to work. We also need to go away from PMS and start looking at how to gasify our vehicles, CNG, LNG or PNG or what have you. We need to look at how we can use gases to power our vehicles, like a lot of countries are doing. It's being done in Iran, it's being done in India, Netherlands and what have you. So there's nothing wrong with us doing that. What we pay for PMS in Abuja is different from what they pay in Aba or other parts of Nigeria. The only places where we have regulated pricing are cities like Abuja and Lagos. But on the outskirts, most of those places don't pay the prices we pay. They are paying prices that have no subsidies in them. So if that's happening already, I believe that we can deal with it. It's going to affect Nigerians. But if you think of the fact that for the last 1 year, we're dealing with diesel, where we're paying about 850 naira for a liter of diesel, we're already dealing with that. The challenge we're having is that the government doesn't seem to have a clue as to how to deal with the fallout or the impact this has on the economy.
Some Nigerians usually awake to disruption of activities as others carry out what is described as protest. Kachikwu had a different view on this protest.
I don't think Nigerians are protesting. What you've seen are not protests. You've seen a few people vandalize bank properties, ATMs, and what have you. I wouldn't say that's a protest. A protest, structured or unstructured protest, you see what happens in cities across the world when you have protests. So what we have right now, those are not what you call protests. We see it in Ibadan, we see a few skirmishes here and there, but I think the Nigerian people have been so beaten, they've lost the appetite to even complain about their lot. And that's why you see what's going on right now. These same people who have been so beaten, so dehumanized by their government, you see them going all over town, still struggling, fighting over these same people. If you look at the candidates that have a huge following in the current election, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, think of the fact that that man was governor of Lagos State for 8 years. Think of the fact that that man is an APC chieftain, a part of this government that has ruined the lives of millions of Nigerians. And then you now see that a man who is obviously ailing, lost or has diminished cognitive abilities, has goofed and gaffed so many times on the campaign trail, and yet you have these Nigerians who are following him, who fight over him, who believe that if not him, nobody else. It bothers me to no end that Nigerians have been reduced to that level where they don't even think or reason anymore.
Age is not what Nigerians should focus on, but competence. These were the words of the presidential candidate as he spoke on the qualities of his counterparts and the formation of alliances ahead of the polls.
Looking at the older candidates in the field, I don't think age should be a factor, because in America, what's Joe Biden's age is old, but the issue is that does he have what it takes to still manage the affairs of America? Yes. Is he still competent? Yes. Does he have a competent team? Yes. The challenge and why people talk about age in Nigeria when you look at Atiku or Asiwaju or P2B or Kwakwan, so is when people believe that they don't have a grasp of the issues of the day. In Asiwaju's case, it's clear, it's glaring to everyone that he has severe health challenges. For P2B and Kwakwan, so they seem they are a bit younger, so they don't really have those issues. Atiku, Atiku has slowed down a bit, but he's still, you can see his mental aptitude is still there, So Asiwaju is the one that is really dealing with challenges of old age. But age is not really a factor. Competence is competence. It's not about your age. You can be 28 and not competent. You can be 60 and not competent. Do you understand? So it's not really about age. I think that Nigerians should look beyond issues like age, religion, tribe, and tongue, what have you. I get this question a lot about forming an alliance, or people say, why don't the smaller parties all come together? But when they ask us, why don't you all come together, they mostly mean, why can't you all come together, you the younger parties or you the younger people, and support Labour? My question always is, why Labour? Why do you say we should support Labour? The Labour candidate is not a younger candidate, but I guess what they mean is because he seems to have the backing of some young Nigerians. They say, why don't we back him? So I always throw this question back at them. What is the difference between an Asiwaju, Atiku, P2B, and Kwakwanso? If they can give me any clear-cut difference, that separates P2B from the rest of them, then maybe I will consider and say, okay, it makes sense to form an alliance with a Labour Party. Right now, my party, the ADC, right? We are not speaking about alliances going into this election. We are severely challenged with INEC. INEC has done a lot of damage to our party, not recognizing the court, Inyako's court order. So if you see what's happening across the country with our agent codes, the Umusu faction of the party who was removed by the court, they have sold our agent codes to some of the bigger parties, and our candidates are struggling. I, as a presidential candidate of this party, I can tell you I have no agent codes to rely on. Again, it's funny, if you look at the vice presidential candidate of the APC, Shetima, even though a lot of allegations have been made about his ties to terrorists and what have you, but you can tell he's a brilliant individual. If I find it interesting, I might listen to him. Again, if you look at the PDP vice presidential candidate, President Okowa, I've said that that's someone I know very well. That's one of the most brilliant people I have ever met. If you also listen to Kwakwanso as an individual, you can tell that this is a man who actually understands the issues. He's a very, very smart individual. When we look at the race, most of them are running. They're still running a race mostly based on tribe, tongue, and religion. A race based on nepotism. You will always know who someone is by the kind of people they surround themselves with. So if you see a Yoruba candidate who is surrounded by Yoruba people, it tells you the kind of government they will run. If you see an Igbo candidate surrounded by Igbo people, it tells you the kind of candidate they will run. If you see a House of Fulani candidate surrounded by House of Fulani people, most surrounded by those people, it also tells you the kind of government they will run.